On the phone, it is a pleasure to welcome to the program the man we just heard from in that clip from a town hall meeting held by Representative Mike Rogers of Alabama, John Mullins. John, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, sir.
Now, John, this was, I got to tell you, it was so refreshing to see someone, I guess, in the presence of a congressman, talk about some of the most basic and obvious economic principles that we've seen this lesson about austerity in Europe. We're seeing it in this country. But first, just tell us, set the scene for everybody. You're sitting in this town hall meeting. One of your fellow town members gets up, and I couldn't quite make out what was he saying about the president at this point.
The first thing out of his mouth was talking about the president being a terrorist.
I see.
And then he proceeded to say that he was going to read a list of 20 illegal things that the president had done. And I started shaking my head. And I was sitting directly in front of the man, and he said, I noticed the gentleman in front of me is shaking his head. So I turned to him and told him he was crazy.
And at that point, it seemed like you had just basically had enough at that point.
Yes, sir. I told him I was tired of hearing talk like that, that I just couldn't take it anymore. That was, I was not planning, I was planning on waiting till I was called upon, and then I was going to talk about how my business was impacted by the sequester, but I just couldn't take it anymore. I'm sorry. There's the level of political discourse in this country has deteriorated so much. I'm ashamed of it. Politics is supposed to be the art of compromise, and you can't compromise with people when they're alienating both sides by rhetoric like that. There's no place for it in our just crazy talk like that in our political discourse. There's way too many more important things going on that we need to work together and achieve results. Not, I'm sorry. It just upset me tremendously. And
I understand. I mean, and one of the biggest problems is that it's not just rhetoric. I mean, when one of your fellow townspeople gets up and says this, they're not saying it to score any political points. They're saying it because they believe it. Where do you think this comes from?
It comes from. I mean, the left has some problems too with stuff like this, but not like the right. It's drilled into them by right-wing media. I mean, it's these crazy people that just want to make money by stirring up trouble.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about the country, really. All they care about is making money, and they make money by putting the most outrageous things out there, will attract the attention of people that don't have anything better to do.
So let's talk some of the more substantive comments that you made to the representative, and I hope he heard them. But you basically laid it out there. Now, you mentioned in that clip we listened to that you used to teach economics.
Yes, sir.
Just tell us a little bit about that, and tell us about the basic principles that you explained to your congressman, which, frankly, we now have everyone from the IMF to now, fortunately, leaders in Europe to Nobel Prize winning economics professors who have echoed the same sentiments that you explained to your congressman. Tell us.
It's basic. It's basic, simple economics. It's not rocket science. It's the most basic, simple facts of economics. I've always considered myself actually a fiscal conservative. And there's only two times that government has a legitimate reason to deficit spend, as far as I'm concerned, and that is in time of war and in time of economic recession. In fact, not only do they have the need to, it's an imperative that they do in either of those two times. It's why we should never have a balanced budget amendment, because in time of war, it's obvious why. In time of economic recession, though, the government is one of the few places that still has money that can be spent. That money should be spent on things like infrastructure projects and stuff like that stimulate the economy. The way it does that is that money, say, goes to somebody that's building roads, and they take that money and they spend it, say, at the grocery store. And the grocery store pays their employees, and money trickles down to the farmers and the canners and the meat packers. But we're all tied together. Just like the quote, no man is an island unto himself. That is especially true in the economy. That you take $1 out of the economy, the federal government taking $1 out of the economy takes $7 out of the economy.
And this is known
money is spent over and over and over again. It's passed through once it's spent by the government, it goes through private individuals over and over again. And every time you take money out of that one person's hands, you take the money out of the hands of the next person they do business with. And it's exponential.
Right, and this is known as the multiplier effect. Now,
yeah.
you were telling your congressman that you're already feeling the impact of the sequester.
Yes, sir.
Give me a sense of how you know it's the sequester, and give me a sense of what that impact is.
Okay, well, I had already pretty much recovered from the recession in my business. I had been stable income for over a quarter. I'd recovered back to almost where I was before. Then in the month of April, started out fine, but as you know, the month of April's when sequester hit.
Mm-hmm.
I had no new competition in the area, no other explanations whatsoever. As the month progressed, my sales kept dropping and dropping and dropping. Over the entire month, it was a 20% drop in sales in 1 month. That is a tremendous drop. It got worse as the month progressed. If you're talking about towards the end of the month, you're talking about a 50% drop.
Now, tell me, have your fellow, are you aware of other business people in town who have had a similar?
Yes, I'm like I told them, I've been here for 57 years. I talk to my fellow business owners daily. They are all expressing the fact that their business, even the grocery stores in town, are off. And if people have to buy groceries, in my business, it's a commodity people don't have to have.
Right.
It's discretionary income spent in my business, and that's the first thing that gets hurt. When you don't have to buy something, that's the first thing that you cut when you're. But I'm being told that it's even impacting the grocery stores already around here.
Wow.
And if that's the case, we're looking at serious financial problems, not only for the people, but for the local governments. I mean, if my sales are down by 20%, that means my sales tax revenue is down by 20%.
Indeed.
That means that even if there's only a 5% drop, that will put the city of Auburn in a financial crisis. It also, the state sales tax, and not only that, my income tax will be down. So the federal government gets less money. It's a cycle that has to be broken, and the only people that have the money to break that cycle is the federal government right now. It has to be broken. We would already be fully recovered out of this recession if it was not for Republican obstructionists blocking every single thing that could help the economy. We were improving tremendously in the economy until the midterm elections. I saw a drop in my business within 1 month after the midterm elections, where I'd already recovered once from the recession, got hit again by the Republicans coming in and cutting things, and now I'm getting hit a third time. I mean, this has got to stop. It's like they don't care. It's like they don't care what happens to this country as long as Obama doesn't get any credit whatsoever for an improving economy. And I find it disgusting. I'm sorry. I've been a middle of the roader, independent-minded person, and to see our representatives doing things that harm our country instead of helping it. I love my country. I don't want to see it hurt, and they're destroying it. They're destroying our economy. They're going to make us weaker all over. I mean, it's going to hurt our national defense even, because they don't seem to understand that all of us do better when all of us do better. When the poor do better, the rich do better. It goes back to Henry Ford paying his employees enough to buy the cars that he made. You know, he realized that we're all tied together. We only do as well as the worst of us do.
John, give me a sense of, one of the things that I love about that clip is that as you're explaining about the two times that you expressed that economics requires the government to spend more, is during a time of recession, during a time of war. You can hear somebody in the background go, sort of a, like you had just connected with someone. I'm curious, what's been the response locally to that clip? I mean, I imagine it's if I've seen it on Huffington Post, I imagine it's also been going around locally. What's been the response by local folks in Auburn, Alabama?
Actually, I was overwhelmed by total strangers coming by my store all day long yesterday, thanking me. I've never had that many people thank me for anything in my life. It was very moving. Like I said, I had no intention of being, having my 15 minutes of fame or whatever. But it was very moving. People coming in here wanting to shake my hand and telling me that what I'd said meant so much to them, and they wished that more people wished that they had the guts to speak up like that I had. It was just overwhelming.
Well, John,
I was very moved by it. I was not expecting it. I felt, actually, when I walked out of there, I felt alone. And now I feel loved, and it was quite a powerful experience for me. And I'm glad that I touched a chord with at least the local people, and maybe I can with the country, because I love my country so much, and I want to see it. I lost my wife 2 years ago, and my country and my business are the only things I have left. And I want to see both of them survive and to prosper. And it tears me apart to see people doing things that aren't in the best interest of all of us and in the best interest of our country as a whole. And they don't see how short-sighted they are. And I know, they say that they're for the 1%, but don't they understand that the 1% needs the people? They won't have money if people below them don't have money to spend. They will lose their fortunes too. I mean, it just will take longer to do so, but they depend on those little people to buy their products and to buy their, and I just don't see this short-sighted just looking at quarterly profits rather than long-term growth. And, you get high quarterly profits by cutting people's wages or cutting your workforce, but you can't grow a business that way. It's stuff I hear like, oh, you can't raise taxes on the job creators. I'm sorry, that's not economically sound either, because I've tried to explain this to people, and they get it when I tell them. They go, look, when you hire an employee, that employee is a business expense. It's written off your taxes. If you're paying taxes at, say, a 30% rate, it costs you 70% to hire that employee. If you're taxed at a 90% rate, it only costs you 10% to hire that employee. So you have a more economic incentive to hire your tax rate. That's why we had such investment in the 50s when the tax rate was so high. Because the lower the tax rate, the less incentive there is for somebody to hire somebody. And anybody that tells you that, you hire somebody based on your marginal tax rate is crazy. You hire somebody because you need them, because you have more business you need more productivity, and you need that person. You don't hire them based on a tax rate. No business has ever done that. The only way you do that is if you had an incentive to hire, like you got a tax credit for hiring somebody. Right. That's the only reason you'd hire somebody for a tax. This stuff about, is totally insane, does not make a bit of sense economically. It is actually the opposite of what is true, and you're hearing it the same way with the sequester. You wait till the economy recovers, and then you cut stuff, because when the economy recovers, you have more tax revenue coming in, because you have more people earning an income and paying in taxes. That means that you can cut and balance a budget without being so draconian in your cuts.
Right.
And people need to understand that. You don't cut while the economy is bad. That just makes the economy worse. You wait until the economy recovers, and then you do it. Like I said, I'm a fiscal conservative, and this goes beyond everything that any economist would ever tell you is right. I mean, I don't know where they're getting, these. It's almost like they're trying to destroy the country, and I hope to God they aren't that way. I don't like to believe things like that about people. I like to think the best of people, but I see it doesn't make any sense. The only way it makes sense at all that they would be doing this is simply to keep the president from getting any credit for the economy recovering. And that's the only reason I could see for this. Nothing else makes any sense whatsoever. And that's not an economic reason, that's a political reason, and that's not what they're supposed to be doing.
I can tell you, John, this idea of austerity is one that has had far too much legs, even internationally speaking, and hopefully...
well, they're learning it internationally and turning that around already.
Right.
We need to learn it here. We don't need to be behind the curve. We need to be ahead of the curve.
Well, you're absolutely right about that, John. And let me just say, I really appreciate your talking to us today, and I really appreciate not just your speaking out in that environment, but also that you have provided for folks a model of how you can go down to these town halls. They're happening all across the country right now because representatives are visiting their hometowns, and you can speak up and you can inject some reality into this discourse. So, John Mullins, I'm glad that you've got good response there locally, and thank you so much for joining us.
Well, hopefully we can get this country turned around and back on its feet, because I want to see America. I want to see it back to being the home of the free and the home of the brave and free. I'm sorry, it hurts me so bad because I love my country so much, and I wanted to see it back to its previous greatness.
Well,
Uh,
more folks speak up like you do. I think we will get there.
That's how, democracy works. You got to speak out. You can't, if you want anything done, you do have to speak up. I mean, let your congressmen know, let your senators know, but especially Congress, because Congress controls the purse strings. It says in the Constitution that all bills of revenue must originate in the House of Representatives. The House, you can only blame the House for our economy. You cannot blame the president. He can only do what the House passes. And if the House won't pass anything, there's very little the president can do. And people need to know their civics. They need to know that that's the case. If you want to blame somebody for the economy, blame the House of Representatives, because that's where it has to start. That's the only people that can really move the thing forward. If it isn't moved forward there, it'll never happen. And instead, they're doing everything to destroy our economy instead of help it.
Well, John Mullins, again, thank you so much for joining us.
And God bless the United States of America.
Appreciate you talking to us. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye.
Bye. All right, folks. John Mullins from Auburn, Alabama. The Collector's Corner
The name
is
his comic book shop.
His comic book shop. If you're in the
yeah.
area, it doesn't seem to be online. But really impressive. And I hopefully we'll see more of him.